Hello. Actually, give me a second. Hello. You might be wondering why I came back with a crown. The reason is I don't have anywhere royal or special to wear the crown, but I really want to wear it. Now, tonight, I've got my fancy metal straw and a can of 2 Towns Cider House Cosmic Curant Cranberry Curant Cider. Yummy. Today, we are talking about relationships. Why are we talking about relationships? Because I asked some of you. I have an Instagram page, and this Instagram page is a photo journal of me doing things in my regular life. And I asked some of you, I said, what would you like to see me write about? What would you like me to see content? What would you like me to create content about? And one of the responses was relationships. So I'm just going to give a short take on my opinion as a millennial. To any other Gen Zers out there, I think this information is particularly useful if you live in a metropolitan city, if you despise your parents, and if you're interested in multiculturalism. If any of those apply, or you just think I'm interesting, then keep listening. Okay, so when I was younger, especially I think high school is probably like a good place to start because that's when everyone starts like dating or whatever. I was really girly. I mean, like, I was that girl. Like, I was like Nunu from Atlanta. You know how she always has like the new, whatever's cool, whatever's it, whatever's in. I had it. The looks, the hair, the body, like, that was me. I was that girl. But I was kind of over high school, guys. So a lot of the time I had like a boyfriend who was like a few years out of high school, maybe even 10 years out of high school. And those are the guys that I dated. But I did date one high school boy. Yeah, I dated one guy when I went to art school, and that went awfully for me. And that relationship ended because of sex. Like, he had sex with someone else while we were dating. We didn't even have sex yet because, like, I didn't have sex in high school at all. Like, I waited until, like, my 3rd year of college, I think, to have sex. Anyway, I think that for some reason, a lot of people who are thinking about relationships are thinking about sex. And I think that that's the wrong way to think about relationships and partnerships. I think a better way to approach relationships are based on like interests. You know, like if you have shared interests with someone, if you can have meaningful conversations with them, if you guys like doing similar things. Like, I really like going to brunch, I like hiking, I like watching movies, I like talking about current events, I like reading about AI, I like having philosophical conversations about politics. I like solving problems. So being in partnership with someone who shares those interests is very meaningful to me. I think even more meaningful than comfort, which is a value I thought I had when I was younger. I was like, I just want someone who's already I called it like stable, like they own property and they are like settled into whatever that means, and a routine. But like, honestly, guys who have that philosophy are really basic And that is just such a low standard to set for yourself. I would not recommend that for any girl. Like, don't settle for average, because honestly, I wouldn't even call it average. I would just say stable. That's not, I don't think that's a good metric to go by, personally. And I'm saying that because I think a lot of those stable guys are like, well, I wouldn't say that. Basically, a stable guy could be any guy who, like, inherited property from his family and then just like drives a bus, or like, drives a train, or like maybe even like does construction, something like that, like a really basic job. It's not really intellectually stimulating. Maybe that's like a really broad generalization though, and it's not fair to like count some people out who think like that or who live lives like that. But I don't know. I feel like after dating some guys who are like that, I just feel like I don't have anything in common with them. And like, honestly, they're just really boring to me. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to be with someone who's at least as smart as me, or hopefully smarter, and like someone who can just like stimulate me intellectually, because otherwise I think I'm gonna be bored out of my fucking mind and thinking about someone else, which is honestly what I do now. So there's that. I will also say something else about like attractiveness that I think like is useful to consider. Like, I do think for women, there's like, well, actually, I'm gonna tally both genders here. Like, I think that there's something to physical attractiveness. Like, I think pretty much everyone has like a basic amount of like physical attractiveness, and there's certain things that that they can do, like get haircuts for guys, or like some hairstyle that works for them, or generally for women, it's like having longer hair. And I think that something that's interesting, that I honestly think that, at least like, I'm just saying this like objectively as a person who does like admire beauty, like especially for Black women, I honestly think like growing out your long natural hair is like the most beautiful. But for some reason, with all these like societal pressures along the way, it really like intimidates a lot of Black women from like wearing their natural hair long. I think that's really beautiful. And then obviously like having a body shape that is like in shape. Like, the average size of a woman in America is a size 14, and honestly, that's fucking obese. So, like, not being obese, having, a daily exercise routine and a general sense of, like, health, I think is enough for you to, like, move forward in society and, like, maintain a decent amount of attractiveness. I do think through like pure natural selection, if you're alive right now, there's something attractive about you. So yeah, I definitely do not think, I think it's very weird that a lot of people are like striving for Instagram face and believing that there's like one form of pretty. Like, pretty doesn't necessarily guarantee you like a happy life or a simple life. And I think that there's something to just, being alive and having an interesting life, which is something that I personally strive to have. So, what else? I think there's quite a lot I feel like I could say about my own past with relationships. I feel like I have times I go through, I would call it like model phase for myself, where I get like really into, like being thin and, having long hair and being really girly and just being all with what I think I look like as the most physically attractive for me. But I feel like right now I'm more interested in being comfortable with like whatever this like comfortable Olivia is that is not there, and also being able to have a meaningful lived experience as like this person, because I do feel like I have value as a human, fat or skinny, and I don't want to be subjected to simply the way that I look. And I think that it's important to get there mentally before you're in a relationship, so that when you get into a relationship, you're able to, I don't know, I guess experience it as a whole human. So that was really short, but yeah.